All right, guys, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Smash Time Lead Therapy. I think this is episode 81, and we have a really cool guest on tonight. And we'll wait till the chat kind of fills up before we start going into specifics. But we have Mike with CMMG on, one of my favorite manufacturers, and we're going to have a good time. So we got Brandon Hearn in the chat. Okay, we're a little early. I've been trying to get Mike on for a long time, but man, honestly, this is probably a 6-month booking, and it just kept getting pushed out. And he's been very cool about being flexible with his time, and I really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's bring on Mike with CMMG.
What's up?
My cholesterol. No, I'm kidding.
You're not the only one.
Man, thank you. Like I was telling the chat, man, I know we had scheduled this so many times and it kept getting pushed back and mixed up and rearranged, and you were super cool about it.
Man, I am definitely one of those people that I understand life happens and you can't always get things aligned just like you want them, and you just got to stay flexible. And we made it.
Yeah. Oh, finally.
Yeah.
Finally. I feel like I won the lottery here. Let's check the chat.
I don't know why you're saying that.
Well, it's just because, it's nice to have a manufacturer on, someone that represents the company. And let's see, we got Brandon, we got Chicago Mike the Shooter. What's up? We got Jesus, we got JJ, Texan 65. Nice.
What's up, everybody?
Nice. These are the clutch subscribers.
Nice.
So, man, what exactly is your job title at CMMG?
I have recently been promoted to PR and I can't even remember my title all the time. PR and brand strategy manager, I think. So,
oh, nice.
I've been within the CMMG companies for a little over 10 years. So my title has changed a lot in those 10 years.
Wow. How did you even hook up with CMMG?
Well, I mean, the cool thing is CMMG, they started in Fayette, Missouri, which is my hometown. So the brothers that own CMMG along with their wives, I met the brothers 30 plus years ago at church.
Oh, wow.
So I've known the owners of CMMG for quite some time, and I bought my first CMMG as just a regular customer at a gun show. Absolutely love the fact that I had an American weapon in the AR-15 with my hometown on the side of it. It was built in my hometown, and it was just the coolest thing. And, I went out and I did training. I became a gun guy. I worked for a local gun shop. I did conceal and carry training and stuff. And then I ran into one of the owners at a MMA fight one night. And he was like, "Hey, man, what's been going on?" I'm like, "Man, I'd love to work for your new store." So they actually had a sister company that was a storefront that sold a lot of CMMG, but also was just a gun store. And so this was like on a Friday night. And then come Monday, I get a call from the store like, "Hey, come in. You need to interview." So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. And a few months later, I became the manager of that store. I started really familiarizing myself with the product. At the time, I was kind of doing a local radio show. So they just kind of naturally took me to SHOT Show because they're like, well, Mike can speak well in front of people. So I still wasn't an employee of CMMG at that time, but I was kind of an impromptu one, and I helped things. And then I became the person that helped plan SHOT Show and NRA show and things of that sort. And
right.
I just made myself kind of valuable to the company.
Nice. Yeah, because SHOT Show is nuts the first time. And for you to go and you're not really kind of an employee and you're just Did you have to stay at the booth, or you had free reign to do whatever?
No, you're stay at the booth. So I was working the booth the entire time, and it was really funny because since I wasn't technically an employee of CMMG at that time, if I go back and watch interviews from like my first SHOT Show, you'll hear me refer to CMMG in the third person. I'll be like, they do this and they do that.
Right.
It wasn't we and I, because I didn't think of myself in that regard at that time. But I think in that show I realized I was doing that, and I tried to quickly remedy it, because I'm like, I'm speaking of on the people that I'm representing. I should probably speak that it's us.
Us, right,
Yeah.
right. So you were managing a store, and then what? You did SHOT Show, and then how did you become the official employee? Did you work in the warehouse first? Did you work, or did you skip all that and go straight to management?
Well, I mean, I was a manager of the gun store for a little over 5 years, and then, but kind of on the side, I was the person kind of taking care of, certain new product releases and helping them in certain ways behind the scenes. And I was doing all the shows. I was helping organize events and things. And then they were making a new position within CMMG that did all those things. And they started looking at other people to possibly do that. And a number of the employees were like, well, Mike already does that. Just bring him over and just get a new manager for the store. So I did that. And I've just kind of worked since doing that. The cool thing about doing SHOT Show and stuff is you start to talk to a lot of media people. You do a lot of interviews and things of that sort, and then you really start making a lot of connections.
Right.
So moving to the media side of things and PR just kind of came natural, because over the past 5-ish years, I've made a number of friends in the gun industry, and now I just get to work with them.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yep.
When I first started the channel, I remember I was going to SHOT Show, and my wife and everyone's like, "Do you know anybody there?" I'm like, "No, I don't know anybody." They're like, "Why are you going? Seems like the thing to do. Let's
Yeah.
go."
So I jokingly said with SHOT Show, it's like the first time I went to SHOT Show, it was so overwhelming because it's just everything is going on. And I'm there to represent CMMG. I'm trying to be on my best behavior. We're in Vegas, but I'm like, you know what? They're paying for me to be here. They're paying for my dinners. They're paying for my hotel. I don't want to do anything to screw this up, because guess what? They brought me to SHOT Show. The thing that I had always wanted to do since I became in the firearms industry was go to SHOT Show. And they were making this dream happen for me. So I'm like, all right, be on my best behavior. But I kind of jokingly say,
You're probably the only one.
what's that?
You're probably the only one on your best behavior.
I kind of ended up becoming like the chaperone for most of the things. Like I was always the person keeping the schedule and everything. And there's a whole story about NRA show in Atlanta where we were in Bizarro World and everybody flipped roles, where everybody else was on their best behavior, and Mike decided to have some excesses. But
We'll talk about that off.
Yeah, that's another story. But it was just, I kind of jokingly say SHOT Show. If you ever get a chance to go, the first time you go to SHOT Show, it's kind of like your freshman year in high school. You have your class, and then in between classes, you have your bells, and you have a certain amount of time to get from this class to this class. And being a freshman, you don't realize that 4 minutes is a lifetime. You're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. You're sprinting, you're running into people, and you get to class with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left before the next bell.
Yeah.
Then once you become a senior, you've gotten used to how things handle. You are this nice casually stroll down the halls. That's kind of how SHOT Show gets to be after you've done it enough times. Because I think I did SHOT Show from 2013 through 2020, and then we stopped doing SHOT Show.
Yeah, I did the COVID show.
Yep, that was
That was your last one, wasn't it?
Yeah, where I'm pretty sure everybody that attended SHOT Show was patient zero for COVID.
No, it was fantastic. The aisles, everyone talks about how crowded and people bump into you and the cart guys and all that. It was the best show. It was so relaxed. You
Oh,
could.
so you went post COVID.
I went post COVID. Yeah.
We went the last year, like when COVID bloomed, and we hadn't been back. So yeah, we missed. We haven't presented post COVID.
Man, I tell you what, that first show after COVID was, for me, it was the first time I've gone. It was fantastic. It wasn't
I've
crowded.
I've heard it was kind of chill, so I'm kind of jealous.
It was so relaxed. I could take video with no mics, no external mics, and get clear audio of
Yeah,
people talking. It was
usually it's a
nice.
madhouse.
Yeah. And then this last year was a little bit more rambunctious.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the kind of quote unquote coming back to normal.
The cart
Uh,
people were back.
yeah.
Can't stand those guys.
Hey, I'm just reading in the comments there, Brandon. Yes, if you're still here, we actually just started working with Sezzle. So we are offering a finance option now. So it's zero interest. It's only over 4 payments over like 6 weeks. So it's a very short-term financing with zero interest, but that is something we just started doing.
Speaking of the chat, let's see who's in here. We got Lucky Dog, Brett J, my man, me the people. All right, Fluffy, it's good to see you in here, man. It's good to see you guys. We were a little early today, but hey, why not? Why not be a little early?
It's
JC9.
kind of like the story I was talking about SHOT Show. Freshman, you're there early. I had to get here early, and you were like, "Oh, well, I guess we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and jump the gun."
Let's just go. Let's just go. So we first met at IV 8888 the year before. I mean, it was kind of like the end of COVID, when we met. And I remember you were at the very end of the firing line.
It's where they always put us because we're loud.
You guys are freaking loud. So you guys were shooting the Mutant, which is something I still don't have, but and I'm waiting in line to shoot it. I shoot it once, I get back in line, shoot it again, and then the line goes away, and I'm the only one there. And I'm like, "Can I keep shooting it?" And you're like, "You load the mag, shoot as much as you want." No shit. I felt bad I was shooting it so much. I had the best time. I probably ran 20
Did I
mags
care?
through it. I shot that thing over and over and over. Yeah. And you guys are just dipping it in water, cooling it off, shooting it again. It was the best time. That was probably one of the best days of my life. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we just abused the hell out of that gun for years. So we've had the gun that I've always taken to the shows, I affectionately called the Beast. So I started taking that to like SHOT Show Range Day and Iraq Vet and other events. We started taking that little guy in full auto in 2015, and we took it to every event, including our own events. And we fed it a steady diet of full auto steel cased crap. So much so that it would get so hot that you couldn't hold it. And the only way we could keep it running for people is dip it in water, cools it off briefly, and just keep running it. And
makes for a great video.
It does. It's fun. My machinist back at the shop, every time I tell the story, they're like, "I can't believe you did that to my gun."
Well, it's funny. So I did the video and I showed me shooting it and I showed, dipping it in water and this and that. And everyone's like, "Oh man, they're going to ruin that barrel." I'm like, it's CMMG. I'm pretty sure they got an extra barrel.
Right.
That's probably the last thing they're worried about.
So actually, that gun, the original Beast, as I called it, it was still original carrier barrel, upper, lower. We had broken things like extractors, and we may have broken a bolt and hammer pins and trigger pins. Some of the small stuff we broke on it, but for the most part, it was still the 100% original first gun. And with all that steady diet of steel crap and water dipping and stuff, we estimate over 220,000 rounds through that one gun. And it got to
definitely see that.
It got to the point where the rifling wasn't engaging the projectiles anymore. And it was to the point where we could have rebarreled it. But we decided to retire it instead, and we just built new ones because that one had become kind of an iconic piece, and we didn't want to change it so that it was no longer the Beast.
What'd you do with it?
It's still sitting in the armory back at the factory. So it's
cool. If you guys made a table, laid it inside, and put like a ceramic or or a epoxy top to it and just have it encased in epoxy at like a coffee table.
We've thought about doing like a shadow box or something to it, but that's a great idea too. So I
Yeah.
don't know what's going to come of it exactly, but yeah, it's kind of gotten retired from use.
Yeah. Very cool, man. Yeah. Shit. I ran at least 300 rounds myself, 400 rounds, pretty easy. I was like a kid in a candy store. So Roger Ray, let's see.
Okay. Well, speaking of the comment you got up there, JC9, the Mark 74. Um, Unfortunately, nothing in the works currently. And I promise you, I will be the first one to buy one as soon as it comes out because I'm a huge AK-74 fan.
Right, right. Jesus is getting a little ahead of the questions, but yeah, let's just talk about CMMG and your own personal opinion on this brace rule because I think it's going to go into effect. I mean, everyone had high hopes it was going to get knocked down.
Yeah,
Uh,
if you look at the so let me preface what any answer I'm about to give right here. Any answer I'm about to give isn't necessarily the opinion of CMMG, the company. This is Mike speaking. Um, so please don't think that I'm, while the owners and upper management might have similar thoughts to me, I'm not necessarily. I don't want to put words in their mouth. They've, you know, Jared from Guns and Gadgets actually had an interview when you were up visiting,
right.
and he had an interview with one of our owners. If you guys get a chance, I would highly recommend going and checking that video out because that really kind of outlines uh, our owner's thoughts on
If
it
you're watching
and the
this on
direction.
replay, I'll post I'll
Right.
post a
Yeah.
link to that.
Do not leave the video right now. Watch this entire thing and then go check out
Yeah,
Jared. But uh you know, people get mad at us because they think that okay, when all this came to be and we stopped doing pistol braces on our Banshees, that we were complying. What a lot of people don't realize is, as a manufacturer, we are governed by the FFL, or I mean, our FFL is governed by the ATF. Um, that piece of paper that says we can manufacture and sell to those good law-abiding gun owners that want to purchase our product,
right.
um, they they can take that FFL away from us if we don't do what they say. So that's a little bit different when you're a company and you're governed by that FFL versus an individual.
Right.
So I it's I will try to remain PG. I do not support in any way, shape, or form this whole rule. They are trying to outlaw a piece of plastic, and I I hope it comes back the way of the bump stocks, but a lot faster. So that is one of the things, at least we did learn about the bump stock, is it unfortunately it went through a crappy process first, and
Right.
then turned around and came back, and they're like, oh, that was just a piece of plastic, it doesn't make it a machine gun. um, I have a ugly feeling that that's how the pistol braces thing is going to happen. Is I mean, we're down to crunch time, and I don't see any legislation coming through right now, or lawsuits that are going to make a huge impact by May 31st. Um,
Yeah. So the
the
advice I'm giving people is like, hey, look, and I told the same example you did. It's going to come back like the bump stock. So I went on. Where's my cool little thing I got? So I
because
went on eBay and I got these extended like flash height or whatever's, and they sell them in all different lengths and sizes. And I go, if you really just want to just pin and weld this, call it a day. You know, if you have a shorty, you're kind of assed out. But most of mine are like 10, 12 inches. So
right.
or just separate the stock from the rifle, throw the stock in the attic for a minute, and then just wait till it goes through the process. But I'm not registering shit, nothing.
Well, Jared also, I think it was Jared yesterday, had a video where he said that so far there have been like 150,000 um, Form 1s filed out of the millions
Right,
of pistol braces that are out there. While I personally think 150,000 is way too many, that is not even scratching the surface of how many are out there.
Mm-mm.
So it appears as if there's going to be, to an extent, mass noncompliance.
Oh,
Um,
100%. I was
so,
gonna say, man, maybe CMMG should just start making like barrel extensions. You guys would be crushing it, crushing it.
well, I mean, we did come out with the Descent, which is that's our way of just kind of saying, guess what? Here's an AR that just doesn't even need one. So you can kind of choose what you want to do with it.
Mhm.
It's I actually tried the other day for the first time the kind of HK MP5K sling method of the push pull with it, and it actually works very, very, very well.
Surprisingly well.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a completely viable option to do with something that doesn't have the tube sticking off the back. And we did just release those in a 16-inch. That since it is a 16-inch, you can put a stock or a brace stock on it at this time.
So you said you were pushing out. So how are you pushing out? How's your arm? In case you guys don't know, my good friend Mike here
It,
tore his bicep doing manly stuff. I think he was saving some children from a burning building or something.
yeah, that's the story I'm supposed to be telling people.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. And so
uh,
I don't see the shake weight anywhere. So I sent him a rehabilitation tool called a
yeah,
shake weight. And
yeah,
I could see him using it.
yeah. The doctor won't allow me to do that quite yet.
No, but it was so funny. So I saw that at a store over here, and I was laughing so hard. I just had to get it and send it to you, man. I thought that was the funniest shit ever because that
Well,
was a
I'm
great commercial growing up.
Oh man, yeah. It's funny because I immediately also think of, I think it's Deadpool when he's talking about, he's like, it's a bad infomercial. He goes, think less slap chop and more shake weight.
Yeah.
But no, my arm is actually doing very well, thank you. If anybody saw the picture that he had up as the as the thumbnail for this interview, it was me looking horrible with my arm in a sling, in a cast, coat kind of draped over me, because when you came to visit, it was just unseasonably cold and windy at that particular
Oh
time.
my god,
Yeah, that was just,
is bad.
it was so it was such a weird time.
Well,
Uh,
your bicep had just tore like a week prior, right?
well, actually, the day you guys arrived, I had surgery.
That's
Uh,
right. You were all drugged and doped up.
and I still came to visit you guys
You
because
did.
I felt so bad. Everybody's like, "All right, you just had surgery. You need to go home." I'm like, "No, I have people coming into town I got to talk to."
Then you get
And
home, you're like, I should have just came straight home.
oh yeah, I got home, and the next day I was hurting. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to miss this. I mean, this is my job. I get to have people come out. I get to let you guys shoot our guns. I get to just you know shoot the crap with everybody, and just I truly am blessed with the position that I have right now, and I couldn't ask for anything any better.
Yeah.
But
It's
and I wasn't about to let a stupid arm injury, slow me down for a couple days. And fortunately, after that, I had a weekend to recuperate a little bit, and I spent a lot of time drugged up and in bed after you guys left. But I made it through.
what a trooper. What a trooper, folks. Let's check the chat. We got Gear Know How, a celebrity, C6 that is, Toy Town Inc. What's up, man? Nutty 357, C&T. Now, if you guys also have questions for CMMG, please post them below. Gort, what's up, buddy? Haven't seen you in a minute. Looked like a nice facility at CMMG Gathering. Yeah, I got to tell you, I was blown away. Lucille in the background, that is.
I saw that in the chat. I'm like, I'll grab it real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, I was blown away by your facility, the shooting facility. It is top notch.
Well, I mean, that's what you get to do when you don't have to pay to go to SHOT Show anymore.
So you guys just aren't going to do SHOT Show ever again?
Not doing SHOT Show ever again. We're not doing the NRA show ever again. We're going to bring people to us, and we're going to choose smaller shows to go to. Because I mean, SHOT Show's nice, and we will still have people within our organization go to SHOT Show.
Right.
And so we'll have like the supplier meetup, and we'll have our engineers talking to part suppliers about various things, and we'll have our meetings and our contacts and stuff. But we're not gonna display there any longer, because unfortunately, uh, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It is nice to be there and be relevant and be in a place where people can actually see all of your products, but it is so cost prohibitive. I mean, it is a money pit. Um, you know, there's so many different costs associated with it. I mean, you figure you have just the price you have to pay NSSF just to have the footprint to put your stuff, and then you have to pay for whatever it is that you want for display, your booth, your racking,
Right.
your signs and stuff. You have to pay to have that stuff installed. I
Broken
mean,
down.
yeah, broken down, delivered, shipped in. You have all the products itself you want to have displayed. You have the manpower to be there. You have to get them there. You have to house them. You have to feed them. You have to pay them. And an organization like ours, I mean, we take 20 people to SHOT Show. So it's not a small ordeal. And you look at things like, you look at some of the expenses while you're at SHOT Show. You realize that uh, the facilities at SHOT Show, they have maintenance and stuff of a night, and like it's like $300 a night just to vacuum our booth.
What?
Dead serious.
I'd do it for 250.
I'm like, you're telling me I could buy a Dyson vacuum every day, vacuum it myself, and then donate that Dyson to somebody?
Yeah, no kidding. That is bananas.
But it is quite the expense, and being able to save that money and bring people to us and tailor it in that way, so that now we have a captive audience, because you're only here to see CMMG product. You're here to shoot at our range, check out all of our stuff. We actually have a Missouri dealer event coming up in, I think, 2 weeks from yesterday. So we're just making sure that local dealers in Missouri are aware that we exist, and we're just bringing them to the facility and saying, "Hey, you." I don't know if you've ever sold our product, but here it is. Here's your hands on. That way you can actually speak of the product whenever you're trying to sell it, because that's one of the best ways. I mean, you could sell a Mark 47 all day long because you've had your hands on with it.
Right.
So having that real time experience is always beneficial.
Yeah, but what you had mentioned before, it was so cool, to have an AR-15 with the city you grew up in engraved in the side.
Yep.
I can't really do that because I don't think anybody want an AR-15 with Compton written in the side of it. It's not a good look,
You're probably more than you think would.
right? Yo, it's the Compton.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
never know.
and I've actually gotten, so the funny thing is I actually moved to Boonville, Missouri, which is where CMMG is now located. And I moved to Boonville, I want to say like 3 or 4 months before CMMG did. So now my guns still have my hometown on them.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Boonville is fantastic, man. What a cool town.
I love Boonville. It's not too big. It's just enough, and it's got it's got this really kind of cool, laid back, historic vibe to it. But
Right.
yeah,
I love it. Roger Ray says, Smash, thinking about getting a probably Zastava AK-47. Your thoughts? Zastava makes a great AK-47. I'd
Yep.
also look at PSA. PSA has a huge plethora of American assembled AK-47s. That's good. There's so much good stuff out there now, but Zastava makes a great rifle.
Yep.
Are you an AK person at all?
I am.
Really?
You might consider me an AK snob because
No.
like the only AKs I own are Arsenals and Polytechs.
So you're not going to go buy a Vesca?
I'm not opposed to it. But I mean, I
I
mean,
took a Vesca to a AK event here in Houston that Clayco 47 puts on called
yeah,
Clash Bash.
yeah.
And I pulled it out and I showed this AK guy, just random guy, seemed like he knew what he was talking about. And he goes, I'd put that piece of shit away before it blew up in my face. I'm like, okay, it's nice to meet you too. So I went and put it back in the truck. I was so embarrassed to have it.
It's a Clash Bash is a little bit of a different vibe.
Oh, so much fun.
It's not the typical vibe you're going to get at any other range event.
Well, AK people are eclectic.
That's a way to put it.
They are a different breed of gun owner. Yeah.
And it's funny because there are so many different. I mean, there are the purists where it's yet the rifle is fine, and there's people that just put whatever they can on them. So, um, I think one of my most favorite videos, if you ever want to, you have to go back to archives because he's not around anymore. But Carnicon back in the day did a video that was like the AK versus AR, and the stuff he was doing that was anti-AK was so outlandish and so funny. It's just it's truly a classic gun video if you can find it. So I think
I still run into people where I'm like, hey, you want to shoot this AK? And they're like, I want that commie piece of shit. I'm like, okay.
No.
All right. Sorry. There's a lot of people that generation. They're like, oh, that's the enemy's gun. I'm like, okay. Yes, sir. Who am I to tell them?
Right.
CNT Design says, I put all CMMG lower parts in my 308 build, and those are solid, smooth, but man, get rid of the A2 grip.
Well, our base model lower parts kits grip have the A2 grip. We do have various parts kits. We even have what we call the gun builder parts kits, which are the core components with no grip and stuff in there that allows you to put whichever one you would like in there. But the A2 grip is just more of a cost savings. It allows us to put a grip in there and not really affect the price that much.
Right. I mean, I don't mind it. I change all my grips out.
Yeah. I think everybody does. It's one of the first things you do to your AR. I even changed out my grips on my AKs. So
can you imagine how much it's come? I remember 15 years ago, you would buy an M4, take the stock off, you take this off, you take the rail off, you change everything. Now you can just get them already done, like CMMG sells.
Yeah,
and it's just done. You don't have to do anything. Just put a red dot, and you're good to go.
Yep. I mean that's one of the nice things about it. I mean. ARs were always I used to say Barbie for men.
Why is that a not t-shirt? Why isn't that a t-shirt?
Right? Because you can accessorize them to no end. So
Barbie for men.
Yeah. But I even call them like freedom jigsaw puzzles because building an AR is just one of those things that's just it's just an experience you have to do. Like I love just grabbing the vise and the wrenches and the parts, and it's always fun too because I'll go through my bins or parts bin, easy for me to say, and I'll just run across a random like, I didn't realize I had that trigger. Guess I need to build another AR. So you find that one part, you're like, well, let's build a gun around it.
Yeah, we were just talking about that on last night's live. Like I have a stock, a grip, a barrel. All I need really is a lower parts kit and a lower, and I can knock out another AR if I wanted. What's up? Does have a question. Discount code? I don't know. I'll talk to Mike after the show. Maybe we could do some kind of discount code. Maybe. I don't know. I'll twist his arm.
So there are some that exist out there a little bit, but
I want my own discount code to give out.
Right.
I just want an AK called Sleepy Joe. Oh, because Sleepy Joe says I don't need one. I was going to say, if you want an AK based off Sleepy Joe, it's not going to work. And it's going
to be a shotgun.
It's going to malfunction quite a bit. Hey, man.
I saw props to Dugan Ashley there. Dugan was a pioneer, and he was well before his time.
Yeah. Props to Dugan Ashley. And he did the AK versus AR?
Yeah. So
I'll check it out. I'll find it.
The name of his channel was Carnic. It's Carnik, Con. So Carnic Con. Yeah, he had incredible stuff.
What happened to him?
Well, I mean, on a personal level, he started having some health concerns, and he just
Mm.
wanted to take care of himself, and he just stepped away from doing it. I mean, he's still kind of in the industry, just laying a little bit more low and not in the spotlight anymore.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I see a lot of YouTubers do that for a while. They'll take a break, they'll take a few months, and then they kind of get out of the swing of things. Like I
Would
just
you?
did a month and a half, and I was having a hard time. Springfield sent me a gun. I was having a hard time doing the review. And I was like, how do I work this camera again? How do I? The lighting was terrible. I was like, I need to check the audio. I was like, oh, once you get out of that rhythm, it
Yeah,
gets weird.
yeah. I mean, GY6 did that. I mean, he took like a year hiatus.
Yeah, a
So
long hiatus.
yeah, so it's good to see
So,
him back.
yeah, I love his stuff. He was one of the first people to really push the slow motion stuff.
Oh yeah, and his slow motion is still top notch. I mean, yeah, he does an incredible job with that. He captures the really cinematic slow motion type stuff. It's really fun.
Yeah, I was like, I slowed this down by like, 38, 50%. He goes, yeah, I did mine by 5,000%. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you win. So, Mike, were you raised with guns as a child? I mean, being from
Uh,
Missouri.
I I mean, I started off younger with like BB guns, and then in my teen years, I got like shotguns and 22s and stuff, and I was out hunting. And then it wasn't until, man, it wasn't until I was like, wow, 30, before I got my first handgun. And I started going to the range and started taking a lot of training. A local trainer whose classes I took a lot noticed my advancement, and he actually paid to send me through our local law enforcement training institute instructor program, and I became one of his instructors. Yeah, once I was older and the bug bit, it bit hard. So
Nice.
so I've always been, kind of around guns, but they were never really hugely prevalent in my family, or in the house. But as I got a little older, we got a little bit into the hunting and stuff. So,
So you were 30 when you started shooting pistols.
hmm
Yeah, I was started shooting around 24, 25, and I didn't really get into it until I moved to Texas. And then, as soon as you cross the border into
and
Texas,
so they have one waiting for you as you cross the
yeah, like,
border. Yeah.
welcome to Texas. Here's your gun.
Yep.
Yeehaw.
Yep.
Bang, bang, bang. It was great. It was great. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Anybody else? Does anybody else have questions in the chat for Mr. Mike? Please
I see
don't be
CNT.
gentle.
I see CNT Design and Arms talking about building an AK. That's that's the good old hammer and anvil right there. We put one of those together. Or I actually started doing a little bit of work on AKs myself, and I actually had to buy like a shop press and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny when you think about the intricacies of putting together an AR versus an AK. You get into that AK, and you're really going backwards a little bit, and that's one of the things I love about an AK, because when you shoot an AK, it's like it's it's man and machine. Like, you shoot an AK, you want to let out that Tim Allen grunt. It's just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
AKs are nuts. Well, I get in a lot of trouble when I hear people say they like to build AR-15s. I'm like, you mean assemble them?
right,
Because you're not like with AK, you used to have to fold the flat. That's building. Because
yeah.
I've tried to fold a flat and I've destroyed it terribly.
Have you seen the video of the guy that made an AK out of a shovel?
No.
Oh, it's been floating around. It's an old video now, but like, this guy literally took a shovel and like folded it and stamped it and everything. He actually has the D-ring handle for the shovel as the buttstock. I mean,
What?
it's yes.
Man, I'm taking
It's
notes.
there's just that video's been out for a minute, but
All right, here's another good question. What is your EDC? Do you everyday carry?
yeah. It changes off and on. As of recently, it is a Are you want full loadout or just what my daily firearm is?
Just your firearm.
As of late, it's been a P365 Spectre comp with a Holosun on it, and
Nice.
a sub 7. Okay, what is the Streamlight? Jeez.
Oh
yeah,
man.
yeah.
So what's the biggest gun you tried to carry? Because I tried to carry a 1911 for about 2 weeks recently, and I did
um,
it, but it was a chore.
I mean,
Chore.
actually, when I first started getting into the handguns, I was carrying a full size Springfield XD.
That's a pretty big pistol.
Yeah, and that was
Not the
th-
XDM, the old XD.
the old XD. Yeah,
That's a husky. It's husky.
yeah, that was kind of a fat gun. And but fortunately, that was also about the same time I learned about crossbreed holsters, and holster companies have just gone, crazy since then. But like crossbreed used to be like the first, like inside the waistband tuckable, and I found that I'm like, wow, I can actually conceal this gun.
Right.
But yeah, my 365 has been my go-to here as of late. Occasionally, I'll switch it out for my Glock 19. I've got, if I'm feeling rambunctious, just for the hell of it, I'll carry my Smith 686 Plus Snubby because
Oh,
I
I mean, that's a
because
cool gun.
I had a custom holster made for that because I just wanted to carry it, and I like wheel guns too. So
That's
that was
but that has a lot of cool factor to it.
that was actually one of my dream guns.
Was it like a police trade-in or something?
No, I actually got it brand new. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Let's see what is in the chat. Any more questions?
that's what I'm trying to read right now too.
I've never even shot an AK-47. I think it would look good in my. No, Roger. Just go shoot one, man. There's all kinds of price levels now. I mean, like I said, PSA, they have that Spiker clone that just came out. That's getting pretty good reviews. There's a lot of cool. I mean, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars like Mike here on an Arsenal and get it all jazzed out. But
For the record, I got Arsenals before they went through the roof. So
well, that's good then.
yeah.
But you could get a pretty solid AK for $1,000. I think,
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
solid.
I mean, Century makes some pretty solid stuff too. Palmetto State does. Century makes some pretty solid stuff. Man, I'm looking at Gort's comment here. He says he carried a Para Ordnance P1245 for years. That is a massive gun to be carrying.
That thing weighs 75 pounds.
Well, and it's so thick too. I mean, that was like that grip was insane. But yeah,
because I just have who makes that? God, I just did the review on the stupid gun and I can't even remember who made it. My mind is a mush.
It's called getting older.
Man, I'm telling you, it is bad. It's getting bad. It's getting bad. So you have the Descent, the Banshee, the Resolute. The Endeavor is a long range one. All right. Those are the four main ones, right?
And we also have our DefCan line, which is our line of suppressors.
Yep. Okay. So you have a Resolute 22 long rifle in that midnight bronze. And that thing is sweet. I'm just, not that I'm dropping hints, but if everyone in the chat knows, I don't have a CMMG behind me here. All I have is this golf club driver. So I would love to have a CMMG for the channel and shoot. Just saying, just throwing it out there, into the wind.
Yeah, I wish I knew somebody could help you out there.
Oh man, I've been married long enough to mean that means no. Speaking of golf, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. Now I just ordered some disc golf from Amazon. I ordered like a little entry pack.
Dude, I will come down. We will play.
Because everywhere I go now, I see these.
You should have just called me, man. I would have sent you discs to starter pack.
No. It was a little 6-disc pack. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just get this. I'm going to go out and see how hard it is to play disc golf. Because I could throw a Frisbee like a mofo back in the days when I was
a kid. It's a totally different feel. You would be surprised.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if anybody in the chat plays disc golf, but that is going to be, I think that's going to be my new hobby.
It is oddly satisfying, and it's kind of a way you can get outside, get out in nature, and it's like if I had a long day at work, that's kind of my disconnect. So just get out and throw a few holes. But
Yeah, we all need that disconnect.
yeah,
Like I was playing Pokemon Go with the kids for a little bit.
I,
Have you ever
I
played that game? That's highly addictive.
no, I played the adult version of Pokemon Go, which is geocaching. Have you ever been geocaching?
No, I know what it
So
is, but I've never gone.
yeah, I do a lot of geocaching. It's a lot of fun. And it's funny because it's basically adult Pokemon Go. You have coordinates on your phone that you have to find, and you have to find something there. Usually something tiny, like pin cap size. It's got a little rolled up log in it. You sign your name on it. You put it back where you found it. It's such a weird experience, but it's really cool when you find one of those that there's like a story behind you happen to find it and why it's there. So
All right, I'll go then. Texan65 says recommendations for a CMMG 9mm. That would be the Descent all day long. I like the 9mm Descent with that takes the Sig mags,
six to Sigmax.
20 mags.
So we have 4 different lowers that work on our 9mm. So you can get Sig P320, Glock, our conversion mag, or the traditional Colt style 9mm magazine. As far as a lower standpoint, I personally like the Colts and the conversion magazines. The reason why I like those is because they still do double stack, double feed the way a rifle is intended to be. Sometimes feeding from a handgun magazine into a rifle isn't quite as reliable as it could be because most of those handgun magazines are designed to have the barrel tilt down and meet the magazine a little bit. So the geometry doesn't always line up perfectly. We do as best as we can to get it to run as efficiently as possible. But in my opinion, just me, I like the double stack, double feed as a rifle should be. I typically run the conversion magazines because it's a standard like Gen 2 P mag, and I have plenty of gear that can accommodate a standard AR magazine. Plus, it works on a standard AR lower, so you can build it all you would like. And so then, if your choice is Banshee or Descent, we have those available in both. But the new Descent with the fixed ejector is incredible. It runs so smooth.
Nice.
So I personally have a Banshee, but I haven't had as much trigger time on the Descent. But what trigger time I have had, it might be replacing my Banshee.
Oh, that's a bold statement. I love Colt stick mags.
Oh, Colt, you can't beat them.
I have a bunch. I love them.
They're just reliable as can be. Unfortunately, we just don't have the Descent in that yet because in order to run the Colt stick mag, the ejector is different. You have to have feed lips built into the lower and stuff. It's geometry we haven't got there yet.
All right. C6 Ladea says, "What's your opinion on ACOGs?"
I have 2 of them, and actually, I have one on what I would call my shit hits the fan gun. So I love ACOGs. It's just. I have friends that are Marines, and I say this with as much love and affection as I can to any Marine out there, but you guys can mess up a steel plate with a marshmallow hammer. And if an ACOG can handle their abuse, then it's good enough for me.
That's hilarious. Charles in the chat, what's up, buddy? Toy Town Inc. says Boris did shovel AK, lives near me. Nice.
That is, you got to watch that sometime. It is.
No, I'm going to watch it as soon as we're done. I'm going to check that out. Now, AK-74U is epitome of a warlord.
AK-74U, one of my old school. I'm feeling that visceral, like Tim Allen grunting right now, just thinking of an AK-74U. So,
yeah. So Clay's out by me, Clayco 47, fantastic guy, and he let me shoot a bunch of his full auto AKs. And man, God, it's such a rush. It's just a different feeling. It's so much fun.
I'm totally trying to look for a picture here on my phone right now, but I'm not having any luck finding it right offhand.
Toy Town says, is Descent sold in pieces?
Sold as complete firearms or sold as an upper that you can put on your lower. The upper will come with a Picatinny rear plate to basically allow the action to work because it doesn't work with the standard buffer tube.
Nice. And for everyone out there, when did you guys redesign your CMMG 22 conversion kit? Because those new mags look sweet.
Okay, I say the conversion kit itself has gone through a few different iterations over the years and small changes. The magazines were actually fairly recently. They were within the last year.
Because that's the only gripe I have. I love it. I have the 22 conversion kit. I shoot it like crazy. Thousands of rounds have gone through several different ARs with that conversion kit, but I can't stand the original mags because they were a pain in the ass to load.
Have
That's
you
just not nitpicking. It was a pain in the butt.
have you seen the McFadden Lightning Loader?
No.
That will change your life, and you will quit saying what you just said.
Man, I'm taking all these notes here. I feel like I'm in school. McFadden auto loader.
Lightning Loader. It is because occasionally, like at Iraq Vet, we take 22s and we take what we call the Hush Puppy, which is a 4.5-inch barrel suppressed full auto 22, because it is honestly just as much fun as the full auto Mark 47, and it's a 22. But those mags are a pain to load, so we usually have 2 or 3 of those McFadden Lightning loaders, and it's incredible. It is a hell of a tool.
I love shooting 22 because you can shoot it all day for pennies and you're not worried about it.
Yeah,
honestly, if I was at that IV-88 and that was my, full auto shooting, I would have shot 2 mags and called it a day.
Right?
Because it's just too expensive. And that was actually during the ammo crunch too. And everyone was so impressed and grateful that you guys showed up with all that ammo. And I mean, it was really a treat for everyone. And I think it made a huge impact on a lot of people that went. A lot of first timers like me were really grateful that CMMG showed up.
Well, I mean, a lot of times you go to events similar to that, and they'll limit you to 5 rounds. Like you'll go to X manufacturer's booth, and they're like, "Okay, here's your gun. Here's 5 rounds."
It's ridiculous.
I'm like, you don't even get a fraction of enjoyment out of it for that. So
it's like,
yeah. I mean, there have been
like prom night.
It was over too soon.
Nap time. Just kidding. Just kidding. I don't want to be too offensive. This is a family show, folks.
It was at PSA's gathering last year. We downloaded the magazines to 20. And the reason we downloaded the magazines to 20 is we underestimated the amount of ammo we needed. Like the first day, like the media day, I don't think we even went through 1,000 rounds on the media day. And then the first day that the public was there, we had 6,000 rounds of ammo for the Mark 47.
Where was this at?
Palmetto State's gathering.
Oh, yeah. I heard that was bananas.
Well, this is last year's. We didn't make it to this year's.
Well, the thing with that, too, is with all these random people showing up, I mean, signing waivers, the liability goes up. I mean, it's at least at IV-88 and Media Day there, these guys have some concept of holding and a functioning gun. But when it's just random people showing up and you got hundreds of them, for me, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably wouldn't want to be around something like that just because I'm a big chicken shit and I don't want to get shot.
Yeah, I just get so used to it. I mean, and that's one of the things too, though, is I've been on those shooting lines for so long. Now I'm kind of the guy, for lack of a description, working the crowd. So we have guys load magazines, somebody on the line, and I'm there kind of watching the line and interacting with people and making sure they're excited to shoot what they're going to shoot. But at the same time, you're also monitoring stuff because I mean you can't relax and have safety go lax in situations like that. But yeah, the first day of the public shoot, We had 6,000 rounds of 7.62. And we're like, that ought to be good. We were out of it in 2.5 hours.
Holy
Um,
shucks.
yeah. So I was running around like crazy trying to find more ammo. I was going to other manufacturers going, you guys have a 6.2? Because I'll buy it from you. Like I went to other manufacturers that had 7.62 for their shooting line, and I was paying full retail, actually elevated retail for cases of 7.62 just so people could go shoot it on our line.
Man, that says a lot about you as a company, though, too.
I mean, we go to those things for people to come out and enjoy it. We want people to get their hands on our guns. Going back to the SHOT Show conversation earlier, um, that was always one of the things I found weird because as an exhibitor at SHOT Show, I wear this badge that says exhibitor. You
Right.
probably had one that said media.
Yes.
Then there's non-exhibiting manufacturers, there's dealers, buyers, guests, and you can go to certain booths, and depending on what your badge says, you can get completely ignored. I could go to a competing manufacturer's booth, and they don't want to waste their time with me because they don't think I'm going to buy anything. I was like,
Right.
okay, I as a company probably am not, but I as a consumer will tell people that you were a dipwad. you know,
Yeah.
like, so when you come to me at SHOT Show, I don't even look at your badge. I don't care who you are, what you're doing. You're there to talk to me about my guns. I'm going to talk to you about my guns. So
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because when you're in media, honestly, everyone, I run into a lot of YouTubers. They think SHOT Shows for them, and it's not. It has nothing to do with media. You're there to talk to distributors, manufacturers, buyers for next year. We're
yep.
just kind of a flea on your ass, kind
But
of.
kind of a welcome one sometimes.
So what I do is I'll go up. You know what's funny is I stayed till Friday this year,
Yeah.
and I made more contacts in the 4 hours I was there Friday morning than I did the entire first part of the show.
How many of them remembered that contact?
What do
Friday
you mean?
morning is a rough morning for people at SHOT Show.
But it
You
was
got
empty. It was a ghost town.
well, you got some exhibitors that are barely there on Friday morning
Yeah.
at SHOT Show.
Yeah, but it was great. It was nice. And so what I do is I just say, "Hey, who's your media person? Here's my card. Who's your contact?" And that's it. I'm not humping legs for free shit. And that's something I see a lot of people that first time YouTubers that go, they're just like thinking that they're just going to get free shit, free shit, free shit. And it's like, no, it's not really how it works.
Right.
You got to build up to it, and you just send a polite letter, let them know you're there, and if they want to work with you, they'll work with you.
So anybody watching here, if anybody here is watching and they want to get into doing the YouTube thing, first off, it is a very saturated market, very difficult to get into.
Amen.
Uh, Second off, if you do the cold email or the cold call, it is very beneficial to put links to your social medias in that email. I get so many emails from random people just saying, "Hey, I'll do a review on your gun. Send me one." No clue who they are, no links, no nothing. There's an email that's, jimbob42 at Gmail. I'm like, well, that doesn't even tell me your channel. Being able to give me a little bit of information or the manufacturer you're going after a little bit of information so that they can actually respond with a good answer. I mean, who knows? You could be somebody that they don't know, but they click on your channel and you've got 500,000 subs. You probably have their attention. But if you didn't tell them who you are,
Right.
it's probably going to be about the same equivalent of a spam folder.
Right. And
So,
also another advice I give people. So like say I want to approach XYZ company. I'll go and either find a gun of theirs or a product, and I'll do a review first of just a random gun.
yeah.
And then I will send them an email and I'm like, "Hey, look, I've already done this review. It's got this amount of views. I'd love to work with you in the future. I would understand if I'm not there yet, but I just want to be on your radar. Thank you for your time." And then you graciously back out. And then if they respond, great. If not, you wait 6 months to a year and you just follow up.
Well, the other thing is too is especially if you're just starting out, be open to consignments. Um, a lot of time,
100%.
a lot of times, if you're not growing, but we like your content, we think you could provide good content, on the product. Sometimes it's like, okay, you're not going to be able to keep the gun, but if you really want to talk about it, we could possibly send you one in a consignment manner where it's like, okay, we give you this long to work on it and do the video, and then at the end of that time, we ask you to send the gun back to us. Um,
Right.
Usually
See,
there's a contract or something usually involved there that if you don't return it in that amount of time, then we're going to bill you for it. It all varies on what the individual is there, but you know that
100%.
that's another thing. Be open to that. It's because we get a lot of people all the time. They'll be like, okay, my you see that they've reviewed, and I'm not trying to slight anybody, I'm just going to use this as an example, but say they've done a lot of reviews on like a High Point or a Taurus or something like that. You've got some fairly cost effective items that they've done reviews on, and now they're asking for a $2,000 gun to be given to them. I'm like, okay, we just took there's a big leap here.
Right.
you
Right.
know so or be completely ready to provide more. That's the other thing to think about too is, okay, if you were thinking, okay, I'm gonna get this gun and I'm gonna do a video, retrain your thinking to, I'm gonna get this gun and I might do 3 videos. It might be the host for an optics video, whatever it is. So just be able to uh you know,
Yeah, and don't underestimate Instagram posts,
yeah,
Instagram reels. So like I'll if I get something, I'll usually do several posts, several reels, and if it's something like the Springfield Operator 9mm, I'm going to compare that next week to the Colt 9mm, and it's almost it's feature wise it's the same, price wise it's not the same. So I'm
right.
going to do probably 250 rounds a piece. I like to have other people. I'll have random people at the gun range show up, and I was like, "Hey, you want to shoot these 2 guns? Which ones do you like?" And it's kind of just a fresh, non-biased opinion. And sometimes it'll bite me in the butt, and they're like, "This gun sucks." I'm like, "Well, damn, I got to put it in there. Got to put it in the video." But it's fun. I'd like to. I just have a good time, man. I just like hanging out with people. And
Oh yeah.
speaking of YouTube, here is the CMMG YouTube channel. Please click like, subscribe. They have 68,000 subscribers, man. That's pretty nice.
You're gonna see my ugly mug in a lot of those videos, so maybe I apologize in advance.
No,
So,
no.
Shooting Gallery, Florida.
Yeah, Shooting Gallery New England moved to Shooting Gallery Florida now.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, I know I haven't spoken to him in a while, but that caught me off guard. I'm like, the FL at the end of that really messed with me. But
No. So he's gonna start doing bikini gun reviews at the beach. I can't wait, Joe. I want to see it. I love it. I love it. Turn the thong around backwards.
yeah,
So
the things I wanted to say, but I'm like, hang on. Let
family
me,
show,
right.
family show. And do you have any other YouTube channels?
Uh, Personally,
Yeah,
yes. I go by the bearded buffoon.
the
Um,
bearded buffoon.
and I talk about stuff like this a lot on that channel.
All right, let's do this one.
No, it was kind of funny. During like the whole COVID thing, and manufacturing was just like, I mean, there was a problem getting, just raw materials, and some production got a little slower. And people were like, "Oh yeah, whenever CMMG wants to say something, they just wheel out the bearded buffoon to talk to us." And I was like, I literally had a logo made that day, had it put on a shirt. In the next video I did, I was wearing a shirt that had the bearded buffoon on it. So
That is so funny.
I just embraced it. I'm like, it's me. I don't care. I mean, I've been on social media long enough and reading comments and YouTube long enough. It most of the time, it's I don't care. Every once in a while, I'm human, and somebody will find that right button to push, and I'll get a little steamed. But I'm like, I just gotta walk away. But
The bearded buffoon 2611.
that probably sounds right.
All right, so I put a link to that channel also in the guys. You got to check this out. Let's see that you need this. How to kick a midget in 12 ways. No, I'm kidding.
Hang on, you didn't tell anybody you did that video with me?
No, but what I'm telling you is like, so you know how hard it is to start a channel and get it going and get some water on it. It is tough, man.
And I'm not really trying to necessarily get that channel up and running. So I talk a lot of disc golf on that one because it's just one of my passions. But I mean, if you look in there, there's also like a video where I completely rebuild my ear pro. I mean, that channel, my goal is just to talk about whatever I want to talk about that day. If I want to go on a rant because people don't know how to change their oil in their own car anymore, or people don't realize that when you're in a left turn lane, it's not a diagonal to make that corner, it is a sweeping arc. Just little things that I'm just like, unfortunately, my generation is as much to blame because we gave birth to the current generation that is being pampered a bit. And I feel that my generation hasn't conveyed to their children anywhere near as much as my father and my mother and my grandfather conveyed to me. So if there's little bits here and there that I can help educate somebody on something, that's kind of where I want to go.
So there's no video on beard maintenance, oil treatments.
That was Gun Doctor.
Yeah, but it's bearded buffoon.
Well, I know, but Gun Doctor interviewed me at Iraq Vet, and we talked about beard maintenance.
Oh, really? Man, I don't see it on here.
Well, it was on his channel.
You could recap it on here.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Yeah, it's called the bearded buffoon. Because I had tried to grow this out, and it got pretty long, and then it got all crazy scraggly. My wife was like, "All right, either do something with it or cut it way down." So I cut it way down.
So is it time to give you tips now, or are we just you're gonna wait for me to put out a video on that?
No, I mean, heck, I had a little brush. I was trying to comb it. I put conditioner in it, and then by the middle of the day, I had strands going everywhere, and I didn't know what to do with this thing. So I just cut it.
Beard oil and beard balm is your friend. A lot of people are automatically thinking like beard oil is just for the beard itself. It's actually more for your face because your beard pulls the oil and everything from your face, and it actually gets your face dried out. So that actually helps keep your face, for lack of a better description, moisturized. Because a lot of times whenever you get a beard, you get dry skin and it just itches a lot. And just a little bit of like a balm or something. Actually, this is just I just comb through this with a boar hair brush anymore. It's got to the point where it kind of lays down. So but yeah, I mean, it's beard. I spend more time on my beard of a morning typically than I do my hair, but
I don't have that problem. I'm good.
Yeah, I was out playing disc golf with a buddy of mine over the weekend, and like after like 2 rounds, his hair is still like shellacked in place. I'm like, dude, what are you using your hair? He's like, product. And I'm like, I don't think I've done anything other than just wash my hair in like 7 years. I haven't used any product or anything in it. So it's just, but I do here.
That's so funny. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
You're like, don't touch my hair. So current events at CMMG, what is coming out 2023, third, fourth quarter? Anything new that you can talk about?
The only things I could talk about right now is our most recent is the 16-inch variety of the Descents. So it's kind of funny because it is a 16-inch pistol. And so just the opposite of a short barrel rifle, we're doing a long barrel pistol. because, but the fun thing is with it being a 16-inch, you can put a stock on it, you can put a brace on it. There's no problem with that because you can convert a pistol to a rifle as long as it's not a short barrel rifle without any additional paperwork. But you're probably also going to see actual rifle variants of the Descent coming out pretty quick too. So actual butt stocks and everything, buying them as a complete rifle. So
Nice.
I actually shot the 16-inch 5.56 for the first time yesterday, and the 16-inch 5.56 compact action in the Descent might replace my standard shit hits the fan AR. Sorry, family friendly show. Can I not say
No,
that?
it's
Or
fine. It's fine. It's pretty late. I don't.
Yeah.
If your kids are up at 9 o'clock watching this, shame on you guys. They should be in bed. Let's see. Charles says, I need a CMMG 300 blackout. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
That is such a fun gun to shoot. You know, I like you invited. I got to go to the CMMG event a few months ago, and I got to shoot every type of Descent multiple times. And I kept going back to the P320 mag 9mm Descent because that was my absolute favorite. The 300 blackout suppressed was my second, though. I mean, it was a hard choice.
The 9mm suppressed is actually, that's very fun too. So we didn't have it out at the event there, but we've got one that we take around now.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, any 300 blackout. I mean, the 6.5 to 8.5 inch, even 10.5 inch barrels and longer if you wanted to. But yeah, I mean, that's where that round shines. And the Descents all have the adjustable gas block on them, so you can tweak it for whatever you want. Man, you run a subsonic 300 blackout with a can. That's just, everybody needs that.
Here's a good question. Can you convert an 8-inch Banshee to a 16-inch 9mm?
Sure. We offer the barrels online. So you could, depending on what you want to do, you could just buy the barrel and just swap it out and put it on there if you would like. Or we offer the bolt and barrel combinations, or the easiest option would just be buy a complete upper if you would like.
Just buy another gun. Just buy another gun.
Yeah. I mean, buy another upper, then buy another lower.
Then you're set. You're all set. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a celebrity in the house. Clayco 47. How about a
awesome.
Rock and Lock 5.56?
I'm not on the engineering side of things, so I have no clue. I'm hoping that the Mark 74 beats that to market, but that's just because I've been chomping at the bit for that ever since we released the Mark 47.
Right. Shooting Gallery Florida says, now that I can actually have an AR, I want to pick up a Resolute in 5.56. Joe, you got to tell me, man, how does it feel to be in a state where you can actually buy whatever you want? I mean, going from California to Texas, it was like a new religion out here. Same thing, you going from Mass to Florida, it must have that same feeling. But what did you do with all your low capacity magazines?
We're sitting there waiting like he's going to answer us.
Did you leave them or sell them to your friends? You just brought a bunch of guns with no mags to Florida? That's a bummer.
Leave him to all his friends back in Mass to at least have more rounds on them.
Yeah, I would have said, here's these magazines, losers. Have fun in this state. I'm out of here. Pieces, deuces. CMMG is a game changer. Just hobbies, you are correct.
We try. We try to really keep. We have some owners that have some brilliant ideas, and our engineers just try to keep up with them sometimes. So, our engine. I mean, the one thing that I don't know that everybody's necessarily familiar with is, I mean, there is a process from thought in head to design on paper through prototyping, testing, and trialing into market. And depending on the gun, I mean, that could be a couple years.
Right.
And sometimes by the time the gun gets to market, we're already 2 or 3 projects into the future. So, we already have our eyes set on certain things. We have We have many things on the drawing board. Unfortunately, I cannot speak of what they are. Um, I will. I will just simply say um, there is something we hopefully are going to be having by Q4 to later part of this year that is something that I haven't been um, as excited about in about 5+ years. So
Uh-oh.
yeah, so we have something on the drawing board that I am going to have one of the first ones. So uh,
Can you give us a hint?
I know the inflection and everything in my voice is not doing this any justice. Is
How
because
about a hint on the caliber?
I need to play it down a little bit. I can't. I really wish I could. So sorry if I was just being a bit of a tease there, but yeah, well, I'm just saying. I mean, we're halfway through the year. You have less than hopefully you have less than 6 months to find out.
So it's a Christmas gun.
I'm hoping sooner, but yeah, Christmas gun
All right,
sounds good.
I can wait till Christmas.
Yeah.
I can wait till Christmas.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, Joe said he stopped in Virginia and bought some standard capacity on the way down. Man, I tell you, when you go from a state where it's heavily restricted to a free state, there's nothing like that feeling. It is such a good feeling. It's great. Can't recommend it enough. If you live in a commie state, move to a less commie state.
I would say, unfortunately, I've never really had that feeling. It's just I take for granted the fact that I've been able to have those magazines. But
rub it in.
Hey, you guys are in free America now.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Born again Texan. Is CMMG working on a short stroke piston design?
We actually had a piston design many years ago, and it just didn't sell like we would have liked it to. So to the best of my knowledge, we haven't and aren't revisiting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's not good. All right. So again, everybody in the chat, here is a link to the CMMG YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe to their channel. If you're not a subscriber, I'm sure they would appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber of my channel and you're watching, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'd always greatly appreciate it. But Mike, is there any final thoughts as we wrap this up, buddy?
Wrap this up? Didn't we just start?
No, I mean usually
I can talk forever, man.
People start stroking their beard, or they doing the whole code about an hour in. So I'm just giving you the benefit of the doubt. So
no, we're good, man. I'm pretty fluid here. No, I mean I appreciate everybody's questions. If you got any more before we get off here, feel free to hit me up with some questions. If I can answer them, I will. And it's just I'm thankful to be in the position that I am. I'm thankful that you finally got me on your show.
Hey man, I appreciate you jumping through all these hoops. Let me ask you a question. What other gun manufacturer impresses you? When's the last time you saw a gun that wasn't CMMG stamped and you're like, damn, that is pretty cool?
Man.
None. CMMG's the best.
No, I mean, I'm a gun guy. I mean, there's so many different things out there. Like as of right now, I'm really leaning toward it's not even a gun company. It's more of an accessory company, but like the tactical lever actions. Like I need one of those so bad right now.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just it reminds me of my roots. I mean, the first time I ever went deer hunting was with a Marlin 3030 lever action. So I'm like, I kind of got to get back to those roots.
Yeah, I have a Marlin 4570, and that thing is so much fun to shoot. I love it.
I have a friend of mine that he has one of those, and every time he brings somebody to his house that is new to guns, and he takes them out there to shoot that, I'm like, dude, that is not the way to introduce people to guns.
Terrible. I call it the marriage gun because it's really fun and exciting the first time you shoot it, but after 20 rounds, it sucks. It starts to get painful.
It's kind of like a Tommy gun. Have you ever shot a Tommy gun?
No.
So we've got one at the factory, and a Tommy gun it's the quintessential, like, you've got to shoot a Tommy gun if you have an opportunity to say you
Right.
shot a Tommy gun. But after you've shot a Tommy gun, you can say you shot it, and that's about all the memories you'll have of it, because it is not ergonomic. It just climbs on you.
It beats you up?
It is extremely underwhelming to shoot. But you shot a Tommy gun.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's just a unique one. I mean, honestly, I would love to shoot a Sten more than a Tommy gun. There's just something about a Sten that's so much more fun.
Yeah, at Clash Bash, I got to shoot a grease gun. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very basic functions.
Oh
Very
yeah.
cool gun.
Oh yeah.
Looks
I
like
mean,
you could make it in your garage.
they basically did.
Yeah, but
I
it's
mean,
great. It was a
I
really
think
cool experience.
I think I read something one time that, like, back in World War II, it literally cost 50 cents to make those.
I don't doubt it at all.
But
Let's see. JJ said he's always wanted to shoot a Tommy gun. That's always been on one of my bucket list guns to shoot. I have not shot a Tommy gun.
yeah, I mean, I will shoot anything. I mean, you're like, hey, Mike, here's this gun, try it. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot it. I've shot a Tommy gun, and I mean, it's cool that you get to say you shot a Tommy gun, but yeah, after you've shot it, it's off your list, and you'll probably never revisit it. That's just all I'll say.
Dang. Now I really want to shoot one. Just so I'm like, Mike's crazy. This thing is amazing.
Please let me know when you do, because I prove me
Told
wrong.
you so.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I will be happy to be wrong. And the thing is, happiness is subjective. I could find it boring, you could find it thrilling. So
That's what I keep telling my wife. She don't believe me. Big John says, any chance you guys would make a MK47 with a descent style upper and ditch the buffer tube?
It's possible. I mean, with the compact action being so fresh, I would imagine we'll probably try a few things out and see what sticks.
Nice.
Because that's the cool thing about it, because it's the compact action, but it's not running a piston on the 5.56 and 300 blackout. We're actually running direct impingement on that, but we're also still running our radial delay blowback on the 9mm and the 5.7. So we're having a lot of fun just experimenting with different things.
So has CMMG ever thought about making like just a regular pistol? Like getting into like just a regular pistol, not an AR pistol, just like a regular pistol.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to answer this, but I'm gonna. But yes, we have. We've looked into it. The thing is, that market is very saturated. Because I mean, if you look at it now, I mean, what is one of the best-selling guns out there right now? It is still a Glock 19 or a gun that wants to be a Glock 19.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's just so many variants of it out there that it's hard to really come out with something in that realm that is really game changing. The other tricky thing there too is, if you're looking at doing something like a Glock or a Smith & Wesson, M&P, or I mean, pick your polymer gun of choice. The machining side of things and designing is relatively, I'm not going to say easy, because I don't want it to be oversimplified, but where you start running into the weird quirks is when you start getting into the ejection molding and finding all the different plastics and stuff. And honestly, designing magazines is probably the trickier thing. So, it's just trying to find that happy balance. And I mean, we were looking at things, but ultimately it was going to be some type of probably like Glock variants. And it's like, do we really want to dive into that realm right now? because so many other people are. I mean, we could probably use our name to an extent to get a little bit of a foothold in there.
Right.
But when you have so many other people doing it,
And doing it well.
yeah, is it worth the time and money and investment to not be reinventing the wheel?
Yeah, that's a very good point. How do
Yeah.
you feel personally about 1911s?
I like 1911s. I've got a Sig 1911. Just up the road from me a little bit is Ed Brown, and they make some phenomenal 1911s.
Right.
I would love to have a staccato. Um, it's is it going to be my go-to workhorse? Probably not. Am I going to shoot the crap out of it at the range? Hell yes. It's I'm a fan of most all guns. Um, I I I I have significantly fewer metal guns than I have polymer guns. At least in the handgun realm of things. But usually it's more of a cost thing. Because depending on the 1911, I could buy 2 Glocks for the price of a 1911. I'd rather have 2 Glocks.
Oh, Mike, I was really starting to love you, but you're a Glockophile.
No, I only own
I'm
one.
kidding. I'm kidding.
I actually only own 1 Glock. So
No, it's funny. I have a couple Glocks just because the channel you're forced to own a Glock, and I don't hate them, but I'll take PSA dagger that has all the functions that people change out on Glocks for half the price, and I'll take the dagger all day long. I
so
love that stupid gun.
I
I've
have a
shot
I have a PSA
solid
dagger,
1,000 rounds through it. Have you
but
shot a dagger?
I have one.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, but essentially, aren't you just saying you have a Glock 19 though?
Yeah, but I have a Glock 19 with a threaded barrel,
true.
milled slide. But I think the fit and finish is a lot better than a standard Glock. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. Glocks to me is like the Minecraft gun. It's just a kind of a blocky Glocky. There you go. My son, when he shot the 19, he goes, "I know why you call this a Glock because it looks like a block." And I go, "That's exactly right, you 10-year-old genius."
A block?
Glocks are just kind of like a blocky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charles
But
says, "How about getting into the ammo business?"
oh, that's a whole other can of worms. We do a lot of reloading for our in-house testing, but I don't know. We're already surrounded by so many other ammo manufacturers. I mean, just a little bit southwest of us, they don't make ammunition, but we have Starline Brass and Sierra Bullets, about 45 minutes from us. We literally have Winchester 2 hours to our east. We have Lake City Armory and Federal an hour and a half to our west. We have Fiocchi in the southern part of the state. Yeah.
Yeah,
We do
sounding better and better and better.
Yeah, we do AR as well.
Yeah. Here's an interesting question. What company would CMMG collaborate with on a weapon?
Who's to say we haven't?
Interesting.
I'll just say there have been some people that have reached out to us from other companies before, and we've worked with designing certain things here and there. But I mean, if we went full blown collaboration, I don't know. It's really tough to say. Because I guarantee everybody that at CMMG that I would go ask that question to would all have a different answer, because everybody has, their things that they like a little bit more than the other. So that might be just a fun question I'd take back to the guys.
Yeah. You know what? So everybody, I went on a tour of the CMMG facility, the factory and how they make it. I was blown away. I thought we were going to be walking into some crazy loud factory where there's hundreds of people cranking out guns, this and that. But I was blown away by how family oriented it felt in there.
Yeah.
Everybody that works at CMMG seemed like they were just having the best time, from the people just packing to people assembling the lowers, cutting the uppers. I mean, it just was a very family vibe. There's not 150 machines going on. There's, 5 machines doing this, 5 machines doing this. And you guys build to order, right?
We were doing the build to order. We are trying our best to start building up an inventory to get lead times and stuff down a little bit. So, we still have very specific models that we'll choose and we'll have inventory of, but yeah, for the most part it is still build to order on certain models, but we're trying to build up an inventory where things are actually in stock and can ship a little bit faster.
Yeah, I was just, like I said, I was blown away with how family it felt in there. It was pretty cool.
Oh
It was
yeah,
a,
I mean,
it was a nice surprise.
yeah, I mean the nice thing is, I mean, a lot of people that come on board there, even if they are fairly new, they tend to stay for a while. I mean, we've got we started in 2002, so we've been in business for 21 years, and we have employees that have been with us for 15 or more of that. I've been with them for over 10. There's a number of us that have been with them for over 10. So it's it's yeah, you get in there and it does, it kind of feels like home.
Nice. Yeah, I really liked it. It was such a good feeling. Charles Morgan, can you build integrally suppressed barrels? Integrally suppressed barrels.
We probably could. We actually have been just starting to bring a lot more of the manufacturing in-house. We've always paired up with a lot of other companies, possibly in neighboring states and stuff. But as our factory is growing, we're bringing more stuff in-house. We're doing a lot more barrel stuff in-house. We are not to that point yet. But I will never say never, because we're always looking at trying to come out with fun new stuff.
Yeah, like I said, a Resolute 22 LR with integrally suppressed barrel. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
So is the 1022.
Right. Those it's in 22. So too many Glock variants, don't need another. CMMG 2011 would be nice.
I don't disagree with that.
I love 2011s.
Yeah.
I have a couple now. I just bit the bullet in Tactical Toolbox, hooked up with a really good manufacturer in Arizona, Precision Armament, and they have a Tactical Toolbox 2011 that they did.
Yeah.
And I sent a picture to my buddy, and he goes, "There's only 5 of these ever going to be made." And he goes, "Cool, I just bought it." So he brought it in, and we shot it, and man, that gun blew me away. So I actually bit the bullet, paid full, to make sure my wife isn't listening. I paid full price for it because I want to support the gun company. And
Right.
I was like, "Hey, I love this gun. Can I do a T&E price?" He goes, "Can't do it." I go, "I don't give a shit. I got to have it. I want it. This gun, this slide, this color. Can you do it?" "Absolutely." And then I was like, "Can you stamp 101 on the bottom of it?" And he goes, "Yeah, I could do that." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm getting a 101 custom 20. Then I got to wait 4 months for it. I'm going nuts, man. I'm like a dog. I don't want to bug the guy,
Right.
but man, freaking Tactical Toolbox got me again. Every time I watch his channel, I end up buying some shit that I don't need, but I want.
Yeah, we are all each other's expensive friends.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah, I mean, I have so many friends that are in the industry. I mean, even the manager that took over the retail store after I was the manager of it. I mean, she is probably my most expensive friend, because she'll be like, "Hey, Mike, did you see this?" I'm like, "Can you order me one?" It's just it's insane.
I'm low key trying to order some of these McFadden speed loaders here on the side during the live. I want one now.
I have an unlisted video on us on me using one. I'll send you the link. When you watch it being used, it's insane fast. I had to unlist the video because in the video I shouldered a pistol, and since we're a manufacturer, we can't market doing that.
Man, I tell you, it's it's getting out of control. And people ask me, they're like, "Oh, why do you do YouTube? Is it to be famous or do this?" And I think, no, man, I do it because I just like talking about guns and shooting guns and meeting cool people.
Yeah.
That's it. I have a day job. I
Yeah.
like my day job. I love my day job. But I just like, hanging out with people like you and just other gun people.
This is my day job.
Yeah, well, you suck. No, I'm kidding. You're like, I'm living the dream.
My side hustle I got going on right now is I'm making these little guys.
What is that?
Killdozer.
Oh man, are you 3D printing those?
Yeah, I literally have like things that just came off my printer.
Do you sell them?
I haven't yet, but I'm looking at doing that. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man, that is one of the most. There's a couple stories in America that you have to know all the ins and outs. Ruby Ridge.
Yep.
Killdozer is definitely top 10 story, and then I don't know. There's a couple good ones.
I say pay attention to CRS Firearms. That story's, I mean, it's just the way the government will. Well, you had Waco. Don't forget that one.
Oh, Waco. Exactly. Yeah. Waco, top 3 right there.
But you want to think about, the government will make examples of people in certain things.
Yeah, and CRS, I mean, I think they absolutely overreacted, but he probably should have been messing around with that stuff.
I mean, when it boils down to it, he was poking the bear, and he was poking it hard. But
and sometimes the bear bites back, and when the bear has unlimited taxpayer money, they can destroy you if they want. But if Epstein can kill himself, anything can happen.
Right,
anything can happen.
But I mean, when it boils right down to it, there's no way that met the definition of a machine gun. But
nope, absolutely agree.
So I mean, they're making an example just to show, like, hey, you poke at us enough, and you, yeah.
My chair broke.
You want me to break my chair to be even?
No, I have a standing desk. I thought it'd be really cool because, help me lose weight, have a standing desk. All I did was buy a taller chair. So it didn't work at all. It was a terrible idea.
Oh, what a workaround.
Yeah, right. The Killdozer. Yeah, that's such a great story. I mean, it's a sad story, but they just made that guy's life a living hell.
Yep. Well, the thing is, because there's the documentary Tread, which tells the story from his point of view, but there's a couple of other documentaries out there that I've dug into because I wanted to hear more of the story. And it's just like anything. I mean, you have pro-gun, you have anti-gun. Depending on which side of the story you're listening to, depends on how the narrative changes. And I'll tell you what, they made Heemeyer look like a total piece of shit. And one of them is just like, no, he was disgruntled and he wasn't having this and that. And I'm like, see, it all depends on what side of that coin you're looking at.
Yeah, so Ruby Ridge was like that too for me. Some guy said, oh, he's just some Nazi that was shooting at cops. I'm like, oh, well, fuck him then. I don't give a shit.
Right.
But when you actually look at the story, you're like, man, that is so messed up.
Yeah.
It's so tragic.
Well, I mean, there was a documentary about like David Koresh, and it told like David Koresh's side of things, and then it made the ATF and FBI look like just horrific. But then there's like the new Netflix documentary. It's called like Waco, and it makes David Koresh and the Branch Davidian look like a cult that needed to be stopped. So everybody's going to tell their story.
A lot of those bodies had bullets in the back.
Right.
It's terrible. Yeah, the more you look into that, I mean, the Branch Davidian, it wasn't like a summer camp for tweens, but
no,
I mean, no one needs to be burned down like that. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was
crazy.
Nuts. Charles, have a good night, man.
Charles is calling it in.
Yep.
Calling it in. So when are you coming to Texas? You let me know.
What part of Texas? Texas is a big area.
It's a little bit. It's a little bit bigger than Missouri, tiny bit.
Yeah, my brother lives on the southwest side of Fort Worth.
Oh, really?
Yep. So I
Man,
don't
let
make.
me know. I'll
I
come
don't,
up and we'll go blow some shit up and go get some steaks.
sounds like a plan,
Then again, that's what you do for a living.
right?
It's like, I'm on vacation. I don't want to shoot guns. You're the only guy's like, I'm on vacation. I'm not shooting guns today.
Yeah, I'll take you out. We'll go disc golfing.
Man, so this stuff arrives this weekend, and I'm going to go to the park. And I'm going to be chucking these discs like a moron. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to start watching videos probably today. Because several parks around my area have disc golf, the chain hole.
Oh yeah, they're around a lot more than you think they are.
They're everywhere, and you don't notice it unless you're into disc golf. You just think it's some pole at a park. It looks like a kid's, like a shitty kid's playground.
Yep. It does. What's up, Flying Rich?
Smash Time, hook me up with some CMMG contacts. I need radio delayed blowback. Man, you and me both, bro. If I only knew somebody that could pull a string or two.
I don't know anybody.
Rich, late to the party. But hey, man, I do have to run. I got to do bedtime with the kiddos.
Sounds great, man.
It's my night.
Sorry, I was long-winded, man. Like I said, I love doing this. I can just get
all
the time, man.
I gotta, thank you, and let me know if you want me to come on your disc channel, and we'll do the evolution of a noob.
I'll have to send you the picture I have on my phone right now. So it's the truest picture I've ever seen when it comes to that. Actually, just about anything, but yeah. All right, man.
Everyone in the chat, thank you guys so much for coming on. We appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber here, let me put a link to the CMMG channel again. Please like and subscribe to the CMMG channel. There's a lot of good content on there. I don't know about the host. The host is okay, but the content is top notch.
Our video and editing guy, man, he makes me look good.
I wish I had an editor. That takes up so much time.
It does. But
nice. Thank you guys so much, Mike. Thank you so much for coming on. Do you want to give any last words of wisdom to the chat?
I'll just say, when it comes to certain things going on in the world today, don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah. Do you know where that term came from?
I do not.
The Trojan horse. Because if they had looked in the mouth, they would have saw the guys hiding up there.
That totally makes sense. That's so obvious. I should have known that.
So that's where don't look a gift horse in the mouth, because if they had looked, they would have seen the guys hiding, and then they wouldn't have been able to. That's where I heard. I heard it on TV. It must be true.
That makes total sense, man.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Till next time.